If you want to see our previous videos, then click the channel name or picture below the video, then go to the video or playlist option. This is Bori Critical Mahabharat book section 11, Arjun versus Chaitraratha battle parva or Chaitraratha parva, and chapter 153. Janmejay said, O Brahmana, after killing the demon named Baka, what did the Pandavas, those tigers among men, do? Friends, please press the red subscribe option and press the bell icon for my latest video updates. Bhishmapada said, O king, after killing the demon named Baka, they lived in the house of that Brahmana, engaging themselves in studies about the supreme Brahman. A few days later, a Brahmana who was rigid in the practice of his vows came to live in that Brahmana's house. That learned bull among Brahmanas, always hospitable towards guests, duly worshipped him and gave him a place to live in his house. Then those bulls among men, the Pandavas and Kunti, requested the Brahmana to tell them about his wonderful experiences. He told them about many countries, places of pilgrimage, rivers, many kings, and many wonderful cities. O Janmejaya, when these accounts were over, the Brahmana told them about the wonderful Swayambara of Yajnasena's daughter Draupadi in the land of Panchala, and the births of Dishtidumya and Sikandi, and also that of Krishna, means Draupadi, who was born from Drupada's great sacrifice and not from any woman's womb. Hearing of these wonderful events, they are all born without woman's womb because mantra power, tap power, okay. That time, hearing of these wonderful events that had happened in this world, those bulls among men asked the great souled one to narrate these accounts in greater details. How did Drupada's son Dishtidumya's birth take place from the fire? How did Krishna, Draupadi's wonderful birth, take place from the middle of the altar? How did he learn the usage of all weapons from the great archer Drona? How did the great friendship between those two break up? O king, having been thus asked by those bulls among men, the Brahmana recounted in detail the story of Drupada's birth. Next chapter, the Brahmana said, at the shores of the Ganga there lived a rishi of great austerities. He saw always rigid in his vows, and he was extremely wise. His name was Bharadwaja. One day the rishi went to the Ganga to have his bath and saw there the Apsara Gritachi, who had arrived before him and now stood there. Having finished her bath, then a wind arose from the river bank and removed the clothing from her body. Seeing her nude, the rishi was afflicted with desire. He was been celibate since boyhood. As soon as his mind felt desire, his semen dropped, and the rishi collected it in a wooden cup. From that was born a son who became the learned Drona and who studied all the Vedas and the Vedangas. Bharadwaja had a king as his friend. His name was Prishata, and he had a son named Drupada. Parshata, that bull among Kshatriyas, always used to go to the hermitage and play and study with Drona. After Prishata died, Drupada became the king. Drona heard that Rama, means Parshurama, wanted to give away all his riches. When Rama was leaving for the forest, Bharadwaja's son went to him and said, O bull among Brahmanas, I am Drona, and I have come to you for some riches. Parshurama said, O Brahmana, now I have only my body left. Ask for either my body or my weapons. Drona said, O illustrious one, give me all your weapons together with the knowledge of releasing them and recalling them. The descendant of the Brigu agreed and gave those to him. On receiving them, Drona concluded that he had become successful. On obtaining from Rama that supreme weapon known as Brahmastra, Drona became extremely happy and became supreme among men. Thereupon Bharadwaja's powerful son went to Drupada, a tiger among men, and said, Know me to be your friend. Drupada said, A man without learning cannot be a friend to one who is learned, nor one without chariots to one who has chariots, nor one who is not a king to one who is a king. Why do you desire our old friendship? Turning his mind against the king of Panchala, the intelligent one went to Nagasharya, the capital of the Kurus. Thereupon Bhishma took a lot of riches with him and offered his grandsons to the wise Drona as students, with the intention of humiliating Drupada. Drona assembled all his students and told them, O unblemished ones, when you have become skilled in the use of all weapons as a preceptor's fee, you must promise that you will give me what I wish for. When the Pandavas become skilled in the use of all weapons and become successful in their labor, Drona spoke to them and reminded them about the preceptor's fee. Parshata Drupada is the king in Chaitraratha. Take his kingdom away from him and give it to me quickly. Then Pandu's 5 sons defeated Drupada in battle, taking him and his advisors prisoners. They showed them to Drona. Drona said, O king of men, I again seek your friendship. One who is not a king cannot be a friend to one who is a king. O Yagyasena, therefore, I will divide the kingdom with you. I will be the king on the southern banks of the Bhagirathi and I on the north. The thought of that great insult never left the king's mind for a single instant. Being miserable, the king became thin. The Brahmana said, being miserable, King Drupada wandered in many places where Brahmanas lived, searching for bulls among Brahmanas who were perfect in all the rites. He wished for the birth of a son. Afflicted with grief and out of his mind, he always thought, I don't have excellent offspring. When his sons were born, he said Cursed are my relatives who are without learning. He kept on signing, thinking about taking revenge on Drona, or descendant of the Bharata lineage. But however much that best among kings tried, he could think of no means to overcome Drona's influence, humility, learning, and accomplishments through his Kshatriya powers. Wandering around, the king came to a holy hermitage and Brahmanas located on the banks of the Ganga. There was no Brahmana there who was no rigid in his vows, nor one who was not a Snataka. Parshada's son found 2 Brahmarishis named Yaja and Upayaja there. They were greatly illustrious, rigid in their vows, self-controlled, and given to the study of the Samhitas. They were descended from Kashyapa's lineage, and both of those supreme Brahmanas were capable of rescuing him. Having controlled his mind, he served them in every possible way, knowing the strength of the younger one to be greater. He worshipped Upayaja of rigid vows, giving him every object of desire, serving at his feet and addressing him in pleasant words, worshipping him in accordance with the prescribed rites. He told Upayaja, O Brahmana, O Upayaja, if you perform the sacrifice that will give me a son who can kill Drona. I will give you 10 crore cows, O best of the Brahmanas. I will give you whatever else is in your mind and whatever pleases you. There is no doubt about this. Having been thus addressed, the rishi refused. Thereupon Drupada again began to worship him and serve him, O king. After 1 year has passed, and at the right time, Upayaja, best of the Brahmanas, spoke to the king in gentle words. When roaming in a forest and at a waterfall, my elder brother picked up a fruit that had fallen on the ground, not knowing that it was impure and should be discarded. I was following him and witnessed my brother's supreme act. He never has scruples about talking that which is unclean. He did not see the impurities that were on the fruit. On who does not see impurities in one's act is not expected to see it in another. When he was in his preceptor's house and was studying the Samhitas without any scruples, he used to eat the leftover food of others and repeatedly praise its qualities. Judging from this, my brother desires material fruit. O king, go to him and he will perform your sacrifices. Hearing Upayaja's words and thinking about them, the king, who was well versed in the ways of Dharma, went to Yaja. Though he had a low opinion of him, worshipping the rishi who was deserving of worship, he told Yaja, O Lord, I will give you 80,000 cows. Please perform the sacrifice. I am inflamed with enmity for Drona. Pacify my heart. That best of man is learned in the Vedas and is skilled in the use of Brahmastra. Therefore, Drona defeated me in a quarrel that arose over our friendship. There is no Kshatriya on this earth, however great, who is superior to him, and that wise son of Bharadwaja has become the chief preceptor of the Kurus. Drona's net of arrows can kill every living creature. His bow is 6 cubits long and looks great and matchless. That great minded and great archer, Bharadwaja's son, is undoubtedly capable of destroying the might of Kshatriyas with the might of a Brahmana. He has been created like another son of Jamadagni, means Parshurama, to destroy the Kshatriyas. Parshuram's father's name was Jamadagni. There is no man on earth who can withstand the terrible power of his weapons, like a blazing fire that has been fed with sacrificial offerings. Drona's Brahmana powers consume every Kshatriya power in battle. Through his Brahmana powers are combined with Kshatriya powers. Your Brahmana powers are superior to his. I am inferior because I only possess Kshatriya powers. Give me your Brahmana powers. I have now found you, whose Brahmana powers are superior to Drona's. O Yaja, perform the sacrifice so that I obtain a son who will be invincible and can kill Drona. I will give you 10 crore cows. Yaja agreed and began to think of what was required for the sacrifice. Upayaja wished for no reward but was called to assist his elder. Then Yaja promised Drona's destruction. The great ascetic Upayaja instructed the king of men on the sacrificial rites that would produce a son. O king, according to your desires, a son will be born to you who will possess great valor, great energy, and great strength. King Drupada, wishing to obtain a son who would kill Bharadwaja's son, began to make the required preparations for bringing success to his effort. Yaja poured offerings into the sacrificial fire and instructed the queen, O Queen Parshati, come here, the time for uniting has arrived. The queen said, O Brahmana, My face is anointed with divine scents, O Yaja, wait a little. My body is not yet ready for the happy consummation that will give a son. Yaja said offerings made sacred by Upayaja's incantations have already been prepared by Yaja. Why should the object of this sacrifice not be attained, whether you come or wait? Saying this, Yaja poured the sanctified sacrificial offerings into the fire. Then a youth who resembled a god arose from the flames. His complexion was like the fire, and his form was terrible. He wore a crown on his head, and his body was encrusted in excellent armor. He had a sword in his hand and a bow and arrows, and he let out many loud roars. As soon as he was born, he ascended a supreme chariot and went forth. All the Panchalas were delighted and exclaimed, blessed. From the sky issued the voice of an invincible and great being. This terrible prince has been born for Drona's destruction. He will increase the fame of the Panchalas and remove the king's grief. Then a young maiden arose from the center of the altar. She was blessed with good fortune and was known as Panchali, means Draupadi. She was beautiful as her waist and shaped like an altar. She was dark. Her eyes were like the petals of lotuses. There is four dark human in Mahabharata, and there is four Krishna in Mahabharata. First, Krishna Dvaipayana means Vedvyas. Second, Arjun Phalguni means Dhananjay. Third, Balram's younger brother Krishna Vasudeva. And fourth, Panchali Draupadi. Her eyes were like the petals of lotuses, her hair was dark blue and curled. She was truly a goddess born in human form. The sweet fragrance of blue lotuses emanated from her body a full 2 miles away. Her form and supreme beauty were such that she had no equal on earth. When the one with beautiful hips was born, the invincible voice said, Supreme among women, this beauty of the dark complexion will bring about the destruction of the Kshatriyas in time. This one with the beautiful waist will perform the objective of the gods. From her will arise terrible fear among the Kshatriyas. Hearing this, all the Panchalas roared like a pride of lions. The earth was unable to bear their great joy on seeing these two. Parsiti wished to get them and come to Yajas and said, let these two know no one but me as their mother. Desiring to please the king, Yaja agreed. The Brahmanas, whose desires were entirely satisfied, gave the two names. Because of his great courage and because he was being born from lustre, let this son of Drupada be called Dhristadyumna, because she is dark in complexion. Let her be called Krishna. Thus Drupada's twin children were born from the great sacrifice. Bharadwaja's powerful son took the Panchala prince Dhristadyumna to his own house and taught him the use of all weapons. Thus did the illustrious Drona ensure that his own deeds would become famous, because the immensely wise one knew that what was destined would come to be. Vishnupada said, on hearing this, Kunti's son seemed to be preached with spears. All those Maharathas lost their mental peace on seeing that her sons were confused and not in control in their senses. The truthful Kunti spoke to Yudhishthira. Kunti said, we have lived in this Brahmana's house for many nights. O Yudhishthira, we have lived in this beautiful city and have received alms. O chastisers of enemies, we have seen again and again all the beautiful forests and woods. Seeing them again will not give us any pleasure, O brave descendant of the Kuru. Arms will not be as easily available, O fortunate one. If you wish, let us go to Panchala, O son. We have not seen it before, and it must be beautiful, O destroyer of enemies. It has been heard that arms are easily obtained in Panchala and that King Yagyasena himself is devoted to Brahmanas. It is my view that one should not live in the same place for a long time, O son. Therefore, if you also think the same, let us go there. Yudhishthira said, your view are for our welfare and we should act in the way. But I don't know if my younger brothers will wish to go. Then Kunti spoke to Bhimsena, Arjuna and the twins Nakul Sadev about going there, and all of them agreed. O king, Kunti and her son saluted the Brahmana and left for the beautiful city of the great-hearted Drupada. Besampana said, when the great-hearted Pandavas lived in disguise, Vyasa, Satyavati's son, once come to see them. On seeing him come, those scourgers of enemies advanced to meet him. They prostrated themselves to welcome him and stood before him with folded hands, returning their greetings and worshipped and pleased by Pritha's sons. The sage spoke to them in affectionate words after they were all seated. O scourger of enemies, do you follow the path of Dharma and that laid down in the sacred text? Do you worship the Brahmanas and those who deserve worship? The illustrious Rishi uttered many words about Dharma and Artha, speaking about many subjects. He again said, a great souled Rishi lived in a hermitage. He had a daughter who was slender of waist and wide of hips. Her eyebrows were beautiful and she had all the qualities. Because of her earlier deeds, she was unfortunate. Despite being beautiful and pure, that girl did not get a husband. With sorrow in her heart, she then began to perform austerities so as to obtain a husband. She satisfied Shankara with her severe austerities. Gratified, the illustrious Lord spoke to the ascetic lady, O fortunate one, O beautiful one, ask for a boon, and I shall give it to you. Desirous of ensuring her own welfare, she repeatedly told the Supreme God, I want a husband with all the qualities. Then the eloquent Ishana Shankara told her, O fortunate one, you will have 5 husbands. Thus addressed, she told Shankara, give me only one husband. The god addressed her again in these excellent words, you have repeatedly asked me for a husband 5 times. Therefore, when you are reborn in another body, it shall be as I have just said. That daughter of divine form was born in Drupada's family as the unblemished Krishna Parshati and is destined to be your wife. O mighty ones, go to the city of Panchala. There is no doubt that you will be happy in obtaining her as your wife. Having told the Pandavas this, the greatly fortunate grandfather, the great ascetic, bid his farewell to Kunti and Pritha's son and left. Bisampana said, placing their mother ahead of them, those bulls among men, the scourger of enemies, set out over smooth roads towards the north. As they had been directed, they walked day and night and reached the pilgrimage of Soma Sharavanya. Pandu's son, those tigers among men, reached the Ganga. The immensely famous Dhananjaya walked in front with a torch in his hand to show the way and protect them. In the beautiful waters of the Ganga, the jealous king of the Gandharvas was sporting with his wives. He heard the sound as they approached the river. That strong one was inflamed with rage at the sound. Seeing the Pandavas, the scourger of enemies, and their mother, he drew his terrible bow and uttered these words. It is known that except for the first 80 instants when terrible dusk colors and night is about to descend, the rest is set aside for yakshas, gandharvas, rakshasas, and others who can travel wherever at will. For the rest of the time, it is said that humans can travel at will. Therefore, if at those times man wander around out of greed, we and the Rakshasas attack and kill those stupid ones. Those who are learned in the Vedas disapprove of those men, even if they are king with their armies, who come near the water in the night. Stay at a distance and do not come near me. Do you not know that I am bathing in the waters of the Bhagirathi? Know me to be a Gandharva named Angaraparna. I rely on my own strength. I am proud and jealous, and I am Kubera's beloved friend. This is my beautiful forest on the banks of the Ganga, known as Angaraparna. I dwell here. No corpses, horned animals, gods, or humans dare to set foot here. How dare you come? Arjuna said, O evil minded one, whether it is night or day or twilight, how can the ocean, the Himalayas, or the river be bared to anyone? We are endowed with strength. We do not care even if we disturb you at the wrong time. It is only weak men who worship you in this cruel hour, issuing from the golden peaks of the Himalayas. This Ganga descends into the ocean in 7 streams. O Gandharva, this holy Ganga flowing through the celestial regions is known there as Alakananda. In the region of the ancestors, it is known as Veterani and cannot be crossed by those who commit sins. Krishna Dvaipayana has said that this divine and pure river, which can take one to heaven, is accessible to everyone. How can you bar us access? That is not in accordance with eternal dharma. Because of your words, why should we not touch as we will the sacred waters of the Bhagirathi, accessible to everyone? Vesampayana said, hearing these words, Angaraparna became very angry. He drew his bow and shot flaming arrows that were like extremely venomous snakes. With the torch in his hand, Pandava Dhananjaya warded off the arrows with his excellent shield. Arjuna said, O Gandharva, don't try to frighten those who are skilled in the use of weapons, because weapons unleashed at them disappear like fruit. O Gandharva, I know that Gandharvas are superior to men. Therefore, I will fight you with divine weapons, not with the use of Maya. In ancient times, this Agneya missile was given by Brihaspati, Shatakratu's preceptor, to Bharadwaja. From Bharadwaja, it went to Agnivesha, and from Agnivesha to my preceptor Drona. Drona, supreme among Brahmanas, gave it to me. Having said this, the angry Pandava unleashed the blazing Agneya weapon at the Gandharva, and it instantly burned down his chariot. Knocked unconscious from the energy of the missile, the immensely powerful Gandharva fell face down, dislodged from his chariot. Dhananjaya seized him by the hair on his head, which was adorned with garlands, and dragged the one knocked unconscious from the missile towards his brothers. On seeing this, his wife, who was named Kumbhinashi, sought refuge with Yudhishthira so that her husband might be saved. The Gandharva woman said, O great king, save me and set my husband free. O Lord, the Gandharvi, Kumbhinasi seeks your protection. Yudhishthira said, O destroyer of enemies, which hero will kill an enemy who has been defeated in battle, has lost in fame, and is now protected by a woman? Set him free. Arjuna said, O Gandharva, have your life. Go from here and do not grieve. Yudhishthira, king of the Kurus, has ordered safely for you today. The Gandharva said, I have been defeated by you, therefore I will give my earlier name of Angaraparna among men. I can no longer show my pride in strength or in name. I wanted to fight with the powers of Maya of the Gandharvas with someone who was at a peak of his youth. It is my good fortune that I encountered one with celestial weapons. My supreme and ardent chariot has been burned by the Agneya weapon. I was earlier called Chaitraratha and have now become Dagdharatha. I spoke to you about the knowledge that I earlier attained through austerities. Today I will give it to the great souled one who has granted me life, he who saves the life of a vanquished enemy who seeks sanctuary deserves good fortune. This knowledge is called Chakshusi. It was given by Manu to Soma, and Soma gave it to Bibhashvasu. Bibhashvasu gave it to me. When the preceptor gives the knowledge to a coward, it is destroyed. I have spoken to you about its origin and transmission. Now learn from me its power. Whatever you wish to see through your eyes in all the three worlds will be seen by you exactly as you wish. One can acquire this knowledge by standing on one leg for 6 months. I have given words that I will myself bestow this knowledge on you. O King, it is because of this knowledge that we are superior to men, because we have the power of seeing everything. We are the equals of the gods, O best of men. I wish to give each of you 5 brothers separately 100 horses from the land of the Gandharvas. They are divinely scented and possesses the speed of the mind. They are used to transport the gods and the Gandharvas. However tired they are, they never lose their speed. In ancient times, the great Indra created a Vajra to kill Vritra, but it shattered into 1,000 pieces when flung on Vritra's head. Since then, the gods divided the Vajra pieces among themselves and worshipped them. Whatever is known as wealth in this world is but a piece of that Vajra. The hands of Brahmanas are the Vajra. The chariot of Kshatriyas are the Vajra. The aims of the Vaishyas are the Vajra. The servitude of the Shudras is the Vajra. The horses of the Kshatriyas are the Vajra, and it is said that they should never be killed. The horses that drew chariots are the offspring of Vadava. One who drives horses is called Suta. This can assume any color at will, can assume any speed at will, and can go anywhere at will. These horses from the Gandharva region will always fulfill any desire. Arjuna said, O Gandharva, I have no desire to accept the knowledge or the riches if you are given them to me out of satisfaction at my having saved your life. The Gandharva said, an encounter with a great person is always a matter of satisfaction. In addition to that, you have given me my life. Being pleased with you, I am given you the knowledge. O bull among the Bharata lineage, O Bibhutsu, in return, to make it equal, I shall take from you the supreme Agneya weapon, so that our friendship is eternal. Arjuna said, O Gandharva, I shall accept your horses in return for my weapon. Let our friendship be eternal. O friend, tell me how we can be free from the danger from your race. Arjuna said, O Gandharva, Arjuna said, O Gandharva, we are the chastisers of enemies, we are learned in the Vedas, we are all virtuous. Yet, why did you abuse us when we were traveling in the night? The Gandharva said, O son of Pandu, you do not keep the fire, you do not make sacrificial offsprings, you do not have brahmanas walking ahead of you. That is the reason you were abused by me. The Yakshas, the Rakshasas, the Gandharvas, the Pisachas, and Uragas and men speak in detail about the prosperity of the Kuru dynasty. O brave one, I have heard Narada and other Devrishis speak of the qualities and wisdom of your ancestors when I myself roamed this rich earth that has this ocean as a garment. I saw the influence of your dynasty, O Arjuna. I personally know your preceptor in knowledge of the Vedas and the science of weapons, Bharadwaja's famous son. He is revered in the three worlds, O Partha, O tiger among the Kurus. I also know Dharma, Vayu, Shakra, and Ashwins and Pandu, the six who extended this lineage, this best of gods and men are your ancestors. I know that all you brothers are divine minded, great souls, supreme among those who wield arms, excellent in observance of vows, supreme in mind and intelligence, and perfect in character. O Partha, nevertheless, I abused you. O descendant of the Kuru lineage, no man who has the strength of his arm can uh, patiently tolerate abuse before his wife's eyes. O son of Kunti, especially at night, our strength increases. Since I was with my wife, I was filled with anger. O extender of Tapati's lineage, I was defeated by you in battle. Hear from me the reason why I suffered. O Partha, Brahmacharya is the supreme dharma and you are established in that. That is the reason you defeated me in the battle. O chastiser of enemies, if any Kshatriya driven by desire wishes to fight with us in the night, he can never escape alive. O descendant of Tapati's lineage, however, a king driven by desire can vanquish all the wanderers of the night in battle if he is led by a priest or descendant of the Tapati's lineage. Therefore, men should always employ priests who are learned and self controlled in all acts that are desired. He who is learned in the six Vedangas and is always pure, truthful, devoted to dharma and self control, is fit to be a priest for kings. A king who has a priest who is learned in the precepts of dharma, eloquent, well behaved, and pure ahead of him is always victorious and is assured of heaven. Afterwards, a king must always choose a priest who has all the qualities, who can protect what he possesses and acquire that which he does not. A king should always be guided by his priests to acquire the entire earth from Mount Meru to where the ocean is the garment. O descendant of the Tapati's lineage, a king who is without a Brahmana can never acquire any land through his bravery or high birth alone. O extender of the Kuru lineage, therefore know that kingdoms with Brahmanas at their head can be sustained eternally Arjuna said, "You have addressed me as the descendant of Tapati. Therefore, I wish to know what that precisely means. O blessed one, we are the sons of Kunti and are known as Kaunteya. Who is Tapati and why are we called Tapatya? I wish to know." Vasampayana said, having been thus addressed by Kunti's son Dhananjaya the Gandharva, recounted the story that is famous in the three worlds. The Gandharva said, "O Partha, the chief among those who follow Dharma, I will tell you this virtuous and wonderful story exactly as it happened. Listen attentively to what I have to say, and you will understand the reason why I have called you Tapatya. He who pervades the entire firmament with his energy had a daughter named Tapati who was equal to him. Tapati was born to Vivasvat after Savitri and was famous in the three worlds because of her austerities. There was no one equal to her in beauty among the gods, the Asuras and the Yakshas, the Apsaras and the Gandharvas. She was symmetrical in form and unblemished in features. She had large and black eyes. She was dressed in beautiful garments. She was pure in conduct, O descendant of the Bharata lineage. On seeing her, Bhivasvat thought that no one in the three worlds possessed beauty, conduct, learning, and qualities equal to her, so as to be her husband. On seeing that his daughter had grown and attained the age of marriage, he had no peace of mind thinking about whom to give her to. O Kaunteya, the mighty king Shambarana, the son of Riksha and a bull among the Kurus, always used to worship the sun with offerings and garlands, observing fast and rituals and practicing various austerities. Puru's descendant worshipped Anshuman when he arose with devotion, obedience, selflessness, and purity. On seeing that Sambarana was learned in the path of Dharma and was unparalleled on earth, for his handsomeness, Surya decided that he was the best husband for Tapati. Or descendant of the Kuru lineage, Surya desired to give his daughter to that supreme king whose lineage was famous, just as the blazing rays of the sun suffuse the sky with radiance. King Sambarana filled the earth with his splendor, O Partha, just as those who know the Brahman worship the rising sun, all subjects other than Brahmanas worshipped Sambarana. The fortunate king surpassed the moon in benevolence towards those who wished him well, and the sun in scorching those who wished him ill. O descendant of the Kuru lineage, Tapan himself decided that Tapati should be given to a king who had such great virtue and qualities. O Partha, it is told that once the king, blessed with such great good fortune and immensely famous on earth, went out to hunt in the woods on the slopes of a mountain. O son of Kunti, when he was hunting, his unequalled horse, overcome with hunger and thirst, died on that mountain. O Partha, abandoning the dead horse, the king walked on that mountain on foot and saw a lady who had large eyes and was unrivaled in the worlds in beauty. The scorcher of enemies, a tiger among kings, was alone. That lady was also alone. He stood motionless and stared at her with an unwavering gaze. From her beauty, the king through that she might be the goddess Sri. He again thought that her beauty was the manifestation of the sun's rays on earth. The black eyed lady stood on the mountain slope, with its trees and creepers like a statue of gold. Having seen her, the king became contemptuous of all other beings and considers that his eyes and now accomplished their purpose. The king thought that nothing that he had seen from the date of his birth could reveal her beauty. He thought that the Creator has created a beauty of this large eyed lady after churning the worlds of gods, asuras, and men. The king's heart and mind were tied up in the nose of her perfection. Deprived of his senses, he was rooted to the spot. Thus, King Sambarana then decided that the lady's richness of beauty was unmatched in the three worlds. As soon as he had seen that fortunate one, the king of noble lineage was pierced by the arrows of the god of love and began to worry, burning with the fierce fire of desire. He spoke to the illustrious lady who was an adult but was still innocent. O lady with thighs like that of a plantain tree, who are you? Who do you belong to? Why have you come here, O lady, with the beautiful smile? Why are you wandering alone in this lonely forest? You are unblemished in every limb and adorned in every ornament. You are like a covered ornament to those ornaments themselves. You don't seem to be a goddess or an Asuri or a Yakshi or Rakshasi or a Nagini or a Gandharvi or a human or supreme among beautiful ones. None of the beautiful women I have seen or heard of can match you. Thus, struck by desire, did the ruler of the earth then speak to her in the lonely forest, but she did not utter a word in reply. When the king kept asking, the large-eyed lady vanished like a flash of lightning. Like one who had lost his senses, the king wandered around in the forest looking for the lady with eyes like a lotus. Having failed to find her, the best of the Kuru lineage lamented a lot and for a long time remembered motionless in grief. Next chapter, Gandharva said, when she disappeared, the king, the one who caused the downfall of enemy armies, was struck by desire and fell down on the ground. On his falling down on the ground, the one with the beautiful smile and welling and rounded hips appeared once again before the king. In a gentle voice, the fortunate beauty then spoke to the king, the extender of the Kuru lineage, who had lost his senses because of desire. O tiger among kings, O fortunate one, O scorcher of enemies, you are known in the world. You should not be seen in loss of your senses. Arise, arise. Having heard these sweet words, the king looked up and saw standing before him the lady with the wide hips. The ruler of men then addressed the black eyed one in these words, his heart burning with the fire of desire, and his words weak with emotion. O black eyed lady, O fortunate one, I am burning with desire. O lady with the large eyes, I am seeking you, accept me in return. Having my life is ebbing away because of you, O you whose complexion is like the inside of a lotus. Love's sharp arrows never stop praising me, O fortunate one, the god of love has bitten me like a large snake, O one with an unblemished face, O one with the tapering thighs, O one with a voice like the song of the kinnaras. My life is in your hands, O one with unblemished and beautiful limbs, O one with a face like a lotus or the moon, O bashful one. I shall certainly not be able to live without you, O lady with the large eyes, O black eyed one. You should not forsake me, O beautiful one. You must save me with your affection, O beautiful and timid one. O one with thighs like a plantain tree, marry me according to the Gandharva rites, because among all forms of marriage, the Gandharva is said to be the best. Tapati said, O king, I am not in control of myself. I am a daughter under a Father's superintendence, if you really seek pleasure from me, go and ask my father for me. O ruler of men, you say that I have robbed you of your life, but know that at the first sight you have also robbed me of my life. O best of kings, I am not the mistress of my own body, therefore I cannot come to you. Women are always dependent, but is there any woman in the three worlds who will not desire a husband like you, who has a noble lineage and is always benevolent to his dependents? Therefore, the night, since the time is right, ask for me from my father Aditya with reverence, austerities, and rituals, or destroyer of enemies. O king, if he desired to give me to you, I shall always be under your superintendence. But O bulls among the Kshatriyas, I am Tapati, Savitri's younger sister. I am a daughter of Savitar, who is a torch to the worlds.